Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Film Busters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusters.pod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
Yesterday afternoon at work, it kind of quieted down about 2 and I played God of War till about 10 o'clock at night. And he stopped to go out and get a pizza for dinner. Proper bachelor life.
You got you got the world on a string, mate. You have the world.
Do you know when
on a string.
when you've been playing video games too long, your eyes hurt. And then I went out into the world to go to Morrison's, and it was like everyone else felt weird. I was like, I don't know. It's like I've been woken up in like a fever dream. It's like this normal life is happening outside of me, and I'm just like so hazy.
I read something that it was like your brain believes, like after a while, your brain believes it is in that situation, which is why it's so jarring when you look away or when you shut it down because. Your brain is aware it's playing a game, but it's immersed in it, so it takes a while for it to adjust back to this being your normal life.
Yeah, it was jarring.
But do you know what I keep going back to, mate? Greatest all-time game or franchise, whatever you want to call it, is the FIFA games, because the replayability of online is just there's never been a game franchise in the history of my lifetime that I've kept going back to as much as FIFA.
I mean, it's only
Grand
that
Theft Auto,
Call of Duty had probably nailed it on the head of those kind of just
never.
You could just pump endless hours into it, and then the second the new one comes out, you don't give a shit about that 1,000 hours you spent on the last one. You just move on with your life.
I never got into that Call of Duty line. Never.
Call of Duty was good fun. The only thing is, all the new FIFAs are absolutely awful.
Well, I don't know about that. I got last season's FIFA. I play online. I don't play AI because there's no point. That's just crap. I only play folks online. That's where the fun is. I play seasons. I'm only getting it for seasons. And I only update it like every 3 years or so. There's no point otherwise.
I know. I saw the new one was like 15 quid and I'm like, do I do it? But then I was like, it's still FIFA. Or whatever it is, FA Club now, whatever the fuck it is.
It's worth your time, man. You just don't want to get beaten by me online as much as you used to.
I'm quite tempted to get Forza now. Forza Horizon is now on PlayStation and it looks very good.
What is Forza Horizon?
It's like an open world driving game.
Yeah, but mate, why are you going to spend on an open world driving game when we're a year out from GTA?
I've got a lot of games to play first. I'm doing second. You need to if you get a PS5, Ben, or if you upgrade it, play the God of War games. They are absolutely unreal.
I played the God of War games,
the old ones
on the 4. I played the beginning of it and I couldn't get into it.
It does take. It is a little bit. What do you want? I always compare it to like Lord of the Rings. It's like if someone said to me, "I would like Lord of the Rings," I'd be like, "Nah," because I don't like all that fantasy shit and all that kind of stuff. But once you get into it, you're like, "Holy shit, this is so well done." Like I'm 27 hours into the second game and I'm probably about halfway. It's just Anyway, let's do this podcast because
exciting stuff. Yes,
Paul's going to be fuming that we've done our lineup and now we've rambled.
Welcome to Game Busters, isn't it?
Yes. Play God of War. Don't watch films. That's why I've barely been watching any films recently, as you can probably tell.
Oh, mate. Okay, well, let's talk about the fact. Not only has it been so hard to get us all to record episodes lately, it's been so hard to even watch. Not so hard. We've barely been watching any films, Adam.
I know. I mean, there's probably a lot of things of just it's summertime and the weather's good outside rather than.
It's definitely not summertime, not yet.
Well, it was in May. It was in June. It's not been. It's been horrible.
Days.
It's pissing it down sideways outside. But
I know.
Yeah, it has been. Again, I just feel very uninspired. But then this week, I have actually watched quite a lot. I don't know if that's a combination of Chelsea's been away or I just think there's quite a few films that have come out that I've gone, oh fuck it, I watched it, and they've all been, I think, fairly good so far.
Yes.
Also, Sinners has just come onto my work app, and I will be watching that tonight.
Yes, and we are going to be watching it tomorrow night. We've already arranged.
You can rent it
it's
now,
now available to rent. But
Yeah.
we are going to take the plunge, and even without renting it, we're just going to buy it to own it outright because we suspect it might be a lovely film that we want to rewatch.
Well, did you bought it on Blu-ray or something then?
No, on streaming.
So you're not actually buy the physical one.
I know it's terrible, mate. Listen,
If you're going to buy it, I'll go out and buy it physical
anymore.
still.
I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but if you've spent the money to buy it, it's the annoying thing about when you buy it online is exactly the same price as a Blu-ray, if not, I think, slightly more expensive.
Well, let me see about that. Let me find out right now.
Okay, you've got Mr. fucking Bezos. He'll deliver it for you in 10 minutes.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. In fact, you're not wrong about that.
It's
So
like
that is a
16
good
quid
punt.
to buy it, isn't it, normally? Or is it like 15 quid to rent it sometimes? But
So it's I believe it's 20 quid to buy it.
unless I've been under a tree for so long and not bought a Blu-ray, but I thought Blu-rays were about £12.
Okay, let me just take a look now and see if that is the case. Because if that's the case, then fair enough. Yeah, you're correct. $14.99.
And then also, if you don't like it, you can sell it afterwards for probably like 7 quid.
No, it's not released until January 2026, if you can believe that.
Okay, that's how they get you.
Yeah. It's the bitches that will get you. You know who that was?
No.
Joe Pesci. In a rap. All right,
Really?
What are we doing today, Adam? What are we doing? Hang on. Head it up.
We
People
are
don't know.
doing The Skin I Live In, and as you can probably tell, Paul isn't here because, as we just mentioned, it's very hard for us all to get together. Our timings have been moving left, right and centre. Has Paul even sent us his voice note?
He sent me the voice note. I haven't
Okay.
played it yet. We'll play it live.
Paul was meant to be on this, but then we moved the recording early and then Paul couldn't make it. Anyway.
We all have such tight windows, and
Yes.
then one little thing comes along and throws it out. This time it's my fault because I have a plumber coming round, and of course the plumber could only come round at the exact time that we had scheduled to podcast.
So we
So
moved
Paul
early.
threw all his toys out of pram and said, well, fuck you.
He said, fuck this, fuck that.
Yes.
If you think the plumber's more important than me, get fucked. So Paul might not even be back next week, so keep that
Paul
one.
wants me living in water, mate. He wants me drowning under the water. He wants everything all wet and soaking over here, but I don't like it. Anyway, buenos dias.
Just a joke. Paul did not say fuck you. He's been very kind with it.
He's been kind.
I don't want to spread the rumors.
No. Paul's been very civil about it.
And this is why also we're not keeping on track.
Exactly. There's a nice bit of anarchy that comes sometimes without Paul bringing the structure to it. But this would not be a podcast. People would not listen to this for more than 1 week.
Yes.
We're allowed like one Paul-free episode every 6 months for us to derail it like this. But we should be serious, Adam, because we're starting a new year.
This is the beginning of a new year. I have no idea where we are these days.
Well, let me try and reframe it. 2011. The reason we're doing this year is our dear patron and friend Julio from the Contrarian podcast picked the film and thus the year for us to do this year. We'll be doing Julio's film a little later in the round, but first of all, we got Adam to pick the film from 2011. So this is his pick, The Skin I Live In.
Yes.
But before we talk about it, Adam, you want to know some shit that was going on in 2011?
Yeah, I'm just trying to guess what happened in 2011.
Go on, take a guess. You can. If you put your mind to it, you can guess a couple of things.
I can't.
All right, I'll give you a clue, and I will say something, and you have to guess what the thing is that happened in 2011. Steve Jobs
Died?
didn't die. He resigned as Apple CEO because he was dying.
Okay.
That's dark.
Start with happiness.
Novak Djokovic
One Wimbledon.
for
The record-breaking time, I guess.
the first time.
Oh, okay.
He broke a streak since 2002, which was always Nadal or Federer winning it. Djokovic beat Nadal in the final in 2011. Osama bin Laden.
Died.
Yes. Shot and killed by US Special Forces in Pakistan following a 10-year manhunt. Fidel Castro.
Died.
He didn't die. He lived.
Got
He lived for a
toppled.
little while. He just resigned. But he'd been leader of the Communist Party of Cuba for 45 years. That's some mad shit. That's some Putin-esque style country management. Tottenham.
They won the League Cup.
All right. Think of the place rather than the club. What if I said Tottenham and
Oh,
Croydon?
was it the riots?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. That's the most relevant bit of trivia in my life that I can really remember, because there were huge riots in the UK, international listeners, after a black guy was shot by police in Tottenham.
I remember being out in France on holiday and it was all happening. We came back.
You were in the safe zone.
I know, it literally felt like those stupid rich people, and it's just like you look at it, everything else burning, and you're like, oh, I'm on holiday, don't matter.
I lived in New Addington, which is not too far from Croydon at the time, and I had gone to see the last Harry Potter in Croydon Grant's
Is that enough to make
cinema.
you want to start a riot?
Yeah,
You thought
I
coming
think that's
out
why
after
everyone was
this,
rioting.
fuck it, I'm going to burn this place down.
But I was in the cinema as everything started happening. So as I was coming out from the screen, coming down the escalator, my phone was popping off. My mum, my friend who I was living with, and some other people were like, "Are you okay? Are you in Croydon?" I was like, the person I was with, I was like, something's going on here. And we stepped outside the cinema, and everyone was rushing the town centre with bags, huge duffel bags. Everyone was legging it in. And my car was parked at the car park, the other side of where everyone was rushing from. So I was trying to get over there, and the police were like, you can't go over there. I'm like, my car is in there. I am not leaving my car. And this copper was like, okay, do it, but we can't protect you. I'm like, I don't need you to protect me. I just need to get my car and get the fuck out of here before they burn it.
Did you take it you got it out of there?
I got it out of there, and then I went back to my third floor flat, and I remember just seeing the smoke for the rest of that day, because they burnt Reeves Corner, which was terrible, man. That furniture shop, that family-run
the sofa
furniture
shop?
Yeah. It was like really. Anyway, that was something that happened. Game of Thrones. What about Game of Thrones?
Started.
Yes, it started.
He didn't die.
Didn't die. Charlie Sheen.
When he did all his drugs and left 2.5 men.
Correct. Yes. And well, can't end on this sad one. Okay, let's end on this one, then I'll end on one other one. So there were 100 earthquakes and tsunamis were big in 2011. 185 people died in New Zealand after an earthquake. But then, to put that into context, every death is a tragedy. But to put it into a context, a fortnight later, 22,000 people died in Japan after an earthquake and a tsunami hit.
Was that
You
the one
remember
with
that
the nuclear in, was it Fukushima?
Was it? I don't know.
I remember doing it. I was doing my A-levels around then, so I remember we did geography. So
How old were you in 2011?
I would have been
17.
Yeah.
There you
How
go.
old you been? 30?
Yeah, I was 25.
Okay. Still a young buck.
I was a young buck. And last of all, the News of the World went out of print. Good riddance. Just need to get rid of the rest of them. And that was 2011, Adam. So, we're not doing any quiz today.
Do you want to give me a question, and if I get it wrong, then Paul gets the point?
All right. Let's have a little
Even though
think
Paul's
here.
like well in the lead, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
We'll do one question, and I'll have to come off the top of the dome.
We'll just do it for
with this
fun.
question.
Let's just do it for fun.
All right, then. What was Antonio Banderas' long-lost brother wearing when he came to the house?
The tiger costume.
Yeah, that's all I can think, mate. I couldn't think of anything else. It was a tiger costume.
Was that
yeah.
his brother?
Oh, Adam, you weren't paying attention. We'll get to that in the damn.
I just thought it was. Oh yeah, I
Mate.
guess so, because it's her mum, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's his mum. Remember, she said.
Yeah,
that
I know. I get
we
it now.
raised him.
I know,
We'll
but
talk
like,
about that.
I
We'll
don't
talk
think they
about
remember
that.
him saying it was his brother. I just remember. Then yeah. Okay.
All right, folks. That's a little sneak preview as to how this episode's going to go. The Skin I Live In. Paul, please drop an audio clip in here.
10 years ago, in a Cannes Film Festival, I was there with Brian De Palma movie, and he called me right after the projection. He said, can we have an interview? I said, absolutely. So he talked to me about Tarantula for the first time, the novel in which the movie is based, and the impact that it produced on me. I remember being the same impact that audiences are having today when they're watching the movie. It produces so many reflections in you. Something happens in the middle when we start going in flashback that reposition in terms of morality the whole entire audience again. So it's moving you continuously.
You know, my favorite Spanish is something I learned recently is "Donde es mi maleta?" Do you know what that is?
Something about the day, is it?
Where is my suitcase?
Okay.
Donde es mi maleta?
I remember. What is it? Zucchero. Is it no?
Zucchero.
Zucchero's what do you call it? Aubergines, isn't it?
Zucchero, doesn't he run Facebook and Instagram?
I was just thinking, what was the word for... Oh, biblioteca, that was always the best word.
That's French.
No, it's not. Biblioteca is library, isn't it?
Yeah, in French.
Ah.
Biblioteca. Why does Google just doesn't work for anything nowadays?
And what was
Biblioteca.
it? Shoes is... what's the word for shoes? Is that Zapata? Is that shoes?
I feel like that's Italian.
See, this is the thing, I did Spanish at school, but I get it confused with every other language.
Zapata, you're right with Zapata actually, yes. Named after a Mexican revolutionary.
I'm going out to Spain this weekend. I'll ask them all out there.
Are you going to Spain? Where are you going?
To see my granddad. He
In
lives out,
Spain?
Yeah, he lives out in Murcia.
I feel like you told me that, but I thought he was
Very
Italian.
near. I only found it out from watching the French Open. Very near where, what's his name, is from. Carlos Alcaraz.
Wait. This is your Italian granddad?
No, my English granddad lives out in Spain.
Oh, okay. You know that Murcia is very near where I'm going in a couple of months. It's Almeria, down
Yeah,
Oaxaca.
down there, they're on a little thing, aren't
It's
they?
the other airport you could go to.
Yeah, so we go to Alicante or Murcia Airport. Alicante's a lot cheaper because everyone goes to Benidorm from Alicante.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a load of
Almeria.
flights and it's like £10 a flight and then we just drive an hour.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he lives in Spain, which is almost solely English and Germans.
Yeah, I mean, sadly,
yeah.
that bit of Spain pretty much is, like, even where we're going, that's the reason we're going, is because that's where my parents used to have a place and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I forgot what part we were at.
We were just about to probably do our first impressions, I would say.
Yes, but before we do that, ain't you going to tell us what the film's about?
Yes, so this film is about a plastic surgeon who, yeah, I guess has been wronged. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I think anything else beyond here is a spoiler, if we're not going to get into that spoiler territory yet.
Yes, alright, well, we'll be in spoiler territory in 2 minutes. Who plays the surgeon though, Adam? Tell the people.
Antonio Banderas.
There we go. And he's been on the podcast once before. Can you remember what
Puss in
film
Boots.
we did? We have not done Puss in Boots.
It
It was a film you didn't like.
No Country for Old Men.
We have not done No Country for Old Men.
Have
I
we
say
not?
again, it was a film you did not like.
Oh, was it the whatchamacallit one? Evita, is he in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you possibly never saw him in it because you probably turned the film off before
Probably.
he even appeared.
I was listening to a podcast the other day about the Falklands War, and
I love how derailed this podcast is.
they kept
constantly.
talking about Evita in it and how the whole whatchamacallit happened in Argentina at the time of the Falklands War and why Argentina invaded the Falklands and all that kind of stuff.
And you were interested in that, but you weren't interested in seeing Madonna and Antonio Banderas tell you
No.
through the art of song.
No.
You're a peculiar animal. Okay, let me give you some facts. Pedro Almodovar is the director of this. Do you know Almodovar? Are you familiar with any of his other films, Adam?
I've seen him. I think I've not seen him, but like I've seen him advertised.
He's good. He's a very, very good director. So he worked on a screenplay for this for almost a decade, and it was adapted from a novel, Thierry Jonquette, a French novelist, novel called Tarantula, but Almodovar radically altered the tone and the plot, making it darker, more psychological, and more focused on identity and transformation. Originally, when he announced the project, he wanted Antonio Banderas and Penelope Cruz in the film's two leading roles.
If someone asked me, just looking at it, it felt like it should have been Penelope Cruz. If someone, I
Yes.
thought Penelope Cruz was in this film before.
As did I.
I just thought everything looked like her, so they've obviously just gone, we can't get her.
It's kind of genius marketing on the poster, because when you cover up the actress's face, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, who is that? It must be Penelope Cruz,
Yeah.
surely. This was the first time that he worked with Antonio Banderas after collaborating 21 years previously in a film called Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. And I strongly recommend, after this podcast has finished, you go on YouTube and you search for End Scene from Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, because it's brilliant. I always remember it. Antonio Banderas with the two lead actresses singing a song in the car, this Spanish pop song. It's great.
So don't bother watching the film, just watch the ending, basically, is what you're
Just
saying.
watch the film's good too. Almodovar described the film as a horror story without screams or frights, and Almodovar as a director is known primarily for melodramatic and dark comedy films, so this was his first venture into horror and sci-fi to an extent.
I'd give it as a thriller. I wouldn't say as a horror.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's got elements of it.
It certainly depends what you class as scary, to be honest.
Well, it does. Well, Shining.
Yeah.
Debuted at Cannes in May 2011, and it won the BAFTA for Best Foreign Language Film as well. It also bears a very strong similarity to the French film Eyes Without a Face, which we've also covered on this podcast. Plastic surgery, disfigurement, face transplants, mad surgeons.
It also reminded me of the film recently? What's his name? Cronenberg's did.
Nosferatu?
No. What's the one the Cronenberg's son did? I remember we were going to do a podcast on it, so I watched it on a plane, and then we didn't do the podcast on it.
Oh, do you know what, Adam, is so weird about that? Is me and Paul were talking about that on the end of month wrap up in the last episode, because I just watched it. It's David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future.
That's the one.
Oh, horrible film. I hated it.
It's weird. I remember imagine trying to watch that on a plane on your iPad when people walking up and down past you being like, what the fuck?
You gave that a 7, you madman.
I quite enjoyed it to an extent. It's been a long time now.
Last 2 bits of trivia. Pedro Almodovar had to tell Antonio Banderas to tone it down a bit because Antonio Banderas was playing it over the top, a total psycho, and the director wanted him to bring it down and make him a very restrained psycho. And knowing that they were playing the same character, Jean Cornet and Elena Anaya, who play Vicente and Vera, started to spend time together. They would go running and jogging together. They would mimic each other so that they knew they were doing a good job in each other's scenes, playing each other.
Yes.
So that's enough of all that crap. People want to hear what we thought of, and I want to hear what you thought of The Skin I Live In.
I'm going to go first, and then you can go second. I'm going to say, what a film. Like, straight off the bat, this is a film you're going to remember for a long time. Like, this is it's a film. Like, so well done. And what I loved about it is this, like, you're just getting along with it, and then the fucking, let's talk, like, the Tiger Man turns up out of nowhere, and you're like, what the fuck is this film now? Like, is this fucking turned into a fucking comedy now? It's like, we watched Cat in the House, like, that kind of shit. It's just someone stupid dressed up as a tiger, and then it goes, and you're like, what the fuck is going on in this film? And then you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. You get your head on it, and then it changes again, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? But it's so good. It just keeps you guessing the whole way, and then it just all comes together in such a beautiful, well, not beautiful way, obviously, but like so well done in your
twisted head,
in a storytelling way, and in a directed, in a crafted way. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to talk to you about it. I think kind of get in and have a discussion on it.
Yeah, let's get into the discussion. I'll give you some very top line thoughts. I loved it as well. I did think it was super cool how for the first half hour, 40 minutes of the film, it constantly felt like you'd missed some information or something, because I was like, what? Why is he doing this? Like, he's making protective skin that doesn't burn and doesn't get damaged. How does that relate to the girl upstairs at the house, and why is she trapped, and blah, blah, blah. But as you say, after that tiger appears, and then they sleep with each other and they dream, and you realize what's happening, it's like, oh, wow. And it just keeps revealing and revealing and revealing stuff, which is very fascinating. Let's just get into it, Adam. First questions first. Let me ask you this question. At what point did you like the film? Like, at what point were you like, okay, now I'm with it? Because I'm not wrong in saying I don't think that the opening is kind of hard to get in step with at first.
I think it's when I really got on board with it when I worked out what was going on.
And when did you work that out? Because it's tricky. Different people at different times, I reckon, work out what's going on.
When it wasn't straight away. It took me a while to get into. I was very intrigued. It didn't lose me at any point, if that makes sense. I was. Do you know, sometimes in the film, it's like, it's not, I don't know what's going on here, and after a while you're like, tell me, because otherwise I'm just going to fucking lose interest. It kept you really wanting to know the answers. And I think it was just before when he started inviting all the plastic surgeons over, and then he was in that bed, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's who that person, like, when he woke up and he had his dick cut off, and I was like, okay, that's it, that's who you are. So yeah, it was before they kind of revealed it when they did the whole face transfer out.
Yeah.
That was a very cool shot. That's a very good way of revealing somebody is. But
Incredibly good.
yeah, I feel like maybe it's quite late on, but yeah, I maybe missed the first one or two hints. But then again, it's like looking back, you should have got it when she was dreaming and she goes to him in his head. Because I was like, why are they dreaming about this guy? Who is this guy? Like,
exactly.
What is the tangent?
So let me tell the listeners, just in case there's anyone listening to this who didn't watch the film, you should have watched the film. But if you didn't, the moment of revelation is, in summary, Antonio Banderas has this bandaged woman, not bandaged, she's got like a skin suit, trapped in his house. You don't know how or why she's there, but you know that he's this mad surgeon.
But in some ways you don't realise she's always trapped as well. Like, she's not trying to... In the beginning of the film, she doesn't try and break out. She just asks to leave, doesn't she?
Yes.
And she's like in love with him, and I'm like, okay.
But she's not in love with him, is she?
Well, she's not, but she's also trying, like, I guess, yeah, she's not. But at the same time, you think she could be.
Exactly. At that point, you don't know what he's done. You don't know what Antonio Banderas has done, which in a nutshell, Antonio Banderas' wife was burned terribly in a car crash when she had an affair with his long-lost brother, who he doesn't know about. She burned in a fire. He tried to help her. She saw her reflection in a mirror, how terrible she looked, and she threw herself out the window, killing herself in front of their daughter. Their daughter goes to a institute because she has mental problems because of that. When she's released from the institute, she is then raped at a party. She thinks it's not her dad, but she thinks it was her dad who raped her, and then she ends up hanging herself. She kills herself, and then Antonio Banderas kidnaps her rapist, chains him up for a long, long time, does surgery on him to make him into a woman, keeps him trapped, and then starts sleeping with him.
He makes her look like his wife, doesn't he?
I mean, how it's all sorts of levels of fucked up when there is a moment where Antonio Banderas is fucking his daughter's rapist while she looks like his dead ex-wife. How fucked up is that?
But honestly, in the film, it's done in such a good way.
Well, it is.
But also, I didn't think his daughter thought he was the one who raped her.
Yes,
I thought she was just scared of men. Because she runs away from him and hides in the cupboard. But I thought she just didn't want to be touched.
The doctor is talking to him outside, and he says to Antonio Banderas, she associates the rape with you. In her eyes, it was you who did this to her.
Okay.
Which again, it comes into the themes of identity
physically or
in the film.
metaphorically or...
Well, I think because of her mental state, I think the suggestion is that she thinks he raped her.
Okay. Because again, I knew she was scared of him and she ran away from him and hid, but I thought that was just because she didn't want to be touched by anybody.
All right. Out of all of this weird shit that's happening in the film, because that's a summary of weird shit, which all makes sense. Like, that sounds so ridiculous, but it all makes sense in the beats of the story. That's what I thought was so good about it, is you buy into it and believe it all. None of that feels unbelievable while you're watching it.
Yeah, it doesn't. And also, it's done in what you want to, again, a classy way. It's not done in a kind of crude or...
Yeah.
It's done in a very... The style of the film is just so... I don't know, it's very clean, it's very polished, it's very... So all of this happening... But yeah,
has a beautiful eye for cinema.
So all of this happening is almost just like you are watching it almost feels like you're watching a sci-fi film in some ways, but it's got these horror elements in this body. But yeah, when did you work it out then, that what was going on?
I didn't. I feel like I worked it out after Vincent or Vicente had been trapped in the basement for a long time. It was, I know when it was. It was when Antonio Banderas started shaving him in the mirror. And he's like, why are you shaving me? Yeah. And I thought, okay. Because otherwise, why were we spending so much time on this? And the thing, like you said, the big flag where people really should get it is when you see Antonio Banderas dream about what happened with his wife, and then you have Vera's dream in the bed next to him, and she dreams. See, here's what happened. The first dream, because Vera has two dreams, right?
Yeah.
The first dream she has is in the shop when she is Vicente.
Yeah.
But you see the other woman in the shop, right? Not his mum, the other woman.
Yeah, there's quite a few other people. Yeah, there's his sister.
Is that his... No, that's not
I thought
his
it was
sister. That because he comes onto her a little bit. He's like, oh, if you weren't a lesbian, you'd be interested in me, remember?
I feel like he's just a bit of a weirdo.
Well, he is a creep. I don't think that was his sister. That was just
I'm getting all the family trees mixed over here.
it was a twisted film.
I'm missing all the ones that were there and making up the ones.
But what I thought was that woman is Vera. That's what I thought at that point. I thought that's she's dreaming of her time in the shop, because then Vicente leaves the shop and the dream carries on
with him,
with Vicente and the mother in the shop.
Yeah. And then you see his daughter and you're like, wait, is this
Yeah. So that exactly, the minute that Vera has that second dream, is like, how would she be dreaming of this shit? And then I thought, oh no, Vera is his daughter. She's not dead, and he's just slept with his daughter.
Yeah.
But I swear, Almodovar wants you to think all this stuff. He's intentionally doing it. It's like Hitchcock misdirection.
But then
Very
again, this is what keeps you so intrigued, even when you don't know what's going on. Like, but when you get it, you're like, yes, and now I'm like, where the fuck is this fucked up film going? But
I know.
When you don't know where it's, but it's leaving you with enough breadcrumbs to be like, yes, let's keep, like, it's so well done. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that nobody in this film is innocent.
Because I was going to talk to you about this. I was going to maybe leave this to the end, but like, in the idea of who wins, in whatever you want to call it, I don't think anyone wins, but like, obviously somebody in the film, end of the film, wins. But like, do they, like, whose side are you on in this whole situation?
I know, but that's the fascinating bit, right? If you had to pick a side with any character in this film, whose side are you on?
Throughout the film, I was more on side with Antonio Banderas.
Well, so was I.
And I think you're meant to be.
Well, okay, where's the turning point? Where's the point where you go, okay, I can't be on your side anymore?
Because
let's break this down.
And it's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's that point where it's like, okay, now I get the whole messing with the person, and like, and then also you hear the other side. It's like his wife still. When the guy comes up to him, he goes, his mum's still looking for him, and it's been 6 years, and you're like, how much has this affected other people? Like,
but see, that's what's very fascinating as a concept. Like, remove the fact that he has sex with her or him.
Yeah.
He kind of has taken this person away from that woman.
Yeah.
That mother is missing her child. Yeah. And that's the real world effects of taking revenge on someone.
Yeah. But then the mother just sits in it, and she what you call it, mellows in it, and she's kind of lets it just maybe eat away at her, whereas Antonio Banderas is the opposite. He's like, I'm going out and I'm destroying you. Yeah, like, that woman the mother could have done the same thing. She could have probably tried to work it out, or just, I guess she's gone a bit more of what a civilian should do if something happens like that. But because also it's like the whole thing of like when you see the first rape scene, effectively, or whatever you want to call it, it's a sex scene.
Well, they are 2 rape scenes, right?
Yeah, and you're like, oh God, why is this happening? Like,
I know,
this is horrible. And then you kind of, once you know that what the other guy has done, it's like,
see,
I know it's that whole.
Now, how fucking interesting is that, mate?
Mental way of it just plays on morals. This whole film, and
I know. I mean, that is.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if I'm ready to get into this level of like.
But that is, you're hitting the nail on the head. That is why this fucking thing is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think of that bit in particular, which is the first. You see 2 rapes in this film. Yeah. You see the first rape by the lion with her, and you're like, this is horrendous.
And then you look back at it when she's saying in her head, the guy's saying to her, I used to love it. And she goes, it's too big, it hurts. You're like, oh, man. Like,
I know.
Now you're looking back on it, it's like, oh.
I know. But so then that happens, right? And then Antonio Banderas kills him.
Yeah.
And then Antonio Banderas sleeps with Vera, for the first time. And even in that moment, forget everything else afterwards. At that moment, you're like,
why have you chosen
this
now?
Woman's just been, she's just been raped.
Why are you now more in love with this? Like, beforehand, you were locking her away, but now she's been raped.
Now
is it like the whole fact of now she's had sex, she's now a woman with, like, again, like, is that the whole...
Or is it because she's like, is she dirty now, so you don't mind? It's like, either way, at that moment, I was like, okay, Antonio Banderas ain't a good character. Because up to a point, I was
He's got some weird morals going on here. Like,
yes. But like, you don't know the situation, right? So I'm thinking, oh, Antonio Banderas is a bit fucked up. But then, when you find, okay, then we see Vicente. Here's what's interesting anyway. This is why there's so many layers. Again, forget what comes afterwards. Vicente. I'm going to ask you this, actually, because I don't want to take this bullet. How do you view what happens between Vicente and Antonio Banderas' daughter?
What, he raped her?
He rapes her, yeah. What I'm trying to say is you see a brutal rape by that guy dressed as a lion.
Yeah.
But then when Vicente is with Antonio Banderas' daughter...
He doesn't actually have sex with her, does he?
It's
more of the...
It's a sexual assault, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sexual... I don't know. But the only thing is...
It is a rape. It is rape.
With the tiger part... What do you call it? She goes, let's go have sex then. In a weird way, doesn't she?
Yeah, but that's because
she's been
Vicente is trying to escape as Vera.
Yeah.
She wants to get out of that room so she can escape, but she doesn't expect that he's going to rape her.
Yeah, that's why she says, let's go down to the garden, and then she gets taken away the other way. It's like, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying about, because you've seen that really brutal rape in a few scenes previous, when you see Vicente with Antonio Banderas' daughter, it's still rape and it's sexual assault, but on the it's a grey area, because
it's like, but his daughter is almost innocent in that, like she's completely innocent.
She is, exactly,
and that's the whole thing. Whereas when you look back on the tiger one, it's like, no, innocent's a horrible word to say, but not innocent, but like, I feel like we put ourselves on a dead end here. Let's just spiral back out of it.
It's a hard one, but what I'm trying to say is, Vicente is on drugs. In the scene, Vicente is on drugs, and Antonio Banderas' daughter likes Vicente, and there's an attraction between them while they're walking. Vicente is on drugs. You intentionally see Antonio Banderas' daughter throw off her cardigan and shoes, because remember when you first see the cardigan and the shoes on the walkway, it looks like she's been attacked, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It looks like she's been attacked and raped. But in the context of what we're seeing, she is taking and throwing those items of clothing off. She willingly goes to a tree with him. But then when you realise as an audience member she's not consenting anymore, because up to that point she's consenting.
I feel like
the minute you realise she's not...
She's been in this institution, she's going to a cool party, someone's showing her interest. She wants to be like, this is what we're going to do. And then the second... It's like the way of... it suddenly changes for her. Like you can see it as it goes on. She's a bit like
exactly,
and then it's like.
And would you say then Vicente in that moment when she's saying no, stop, does he stop? He punches her out,
and then he goes,
stops.
"Oh fuck, what have I done here?" That's more of a. That's not. I don't think he was planning on stopping, but then he's gone. This has gone really tits up. The best thing to do is get away from the situation. That is not I was going to stop. Because
I don't know.
I don't think he was ever going to stop. He's like, the situation has then spiraled that he's like, now I have to get away.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think he sucks. He sexually assaults her because there's a moment when he continues taking advantage of her, which is while he's dressing her up after she's been naked.
Oh yeah,
he
rubbing her hands all over him still. And
he's a pervert and he's a nasty piece of work. But if you look at him and you look at the tiger guy, who is the bigger piece of shit?
I would say Vicente still.
Guy.
I still think Vicente in a weird way of...
Oh, well, that's interesting. Because what I was going to say is, because Vicente's kind of sexual assault is kind of... It's muddied. It's grey. It's not clear exactly the circumstances, right? Obviously, some stuff has happened, but it's not as clear as what happened with the tiger guy. So what I was going to say is, if the tiger guy was then the one who Antonio Banderas turned into a woman and did all these terrible things to, you'd have no sympathy for him. You'd be like, yeah, good, you get what you deserve.
Also, he did kill his wife as well. Like, he was responsible for his wife's
death. He left her
death.
for dead. Yeah.
I feel like he probably burnt the car or something as well. Like, I don't think it was all a bit as, they were in a car crash. If you get away and she's locked in a burning car, like, if one of you can get out, maybe both of you could have helped her get out as well. Like, I feel that was a bit...
so do you then think so for you, in terms of what Vicente did, it was unforgivable anyway, so they got everything they deserved. So there was no boundary that he crossed.
There's like the scene where when he's sitting down with Antonio Banderas' mum and he's Vera and he's listening. Why did the guy do? And you could see it in that face there of like,
yes, I
get why he's done this to me now. Like, I get the fact that when then his daughter, this happened to his daughter, and then she threw herself out the window as well. And you're like, in your head, you're like, that I did that. Like, I was the reason why that happened.
Because do you think Vicente, as Vera, do you think Vera at any point believes that she's Vera? She does, doesn't she?
I think there is a point.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like that, and I do think there is that whole point of she was. Like, do you know when they're having sex at the end of it, and she goes back down to get her handbag and get the loot?
Yeah.
I do generally feel in that situation she maybe would have done, but the whole going downstairs, seeing the gun, and then seeing the picture.
Yeah.
And you're thinking,
like triggered something.
Because I do think genuinely in that moment, like when they're going out shopping, and I don't know if she was, to me it didn't feel like she was necessarily playing the game. It didn't feel like she was like, oh, let's be happy families, and then I'll check my moment. I felt like she thought, you know what, fuck it, this might be, this is what the best I'm going to get now, like making the best of the bad situation. And then it's that whole trigger when she sees the gun and she sees the picture of Vince,
maybe.
and then she's like, you know what, fuck this cunt.
Yeah. It's kind of like a two-way thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like at some point because she's smoking opium. He's got her smoking opium, which is making her forget. She writes it on the wall, right?
I forgot about that bit.
But there's times,
like drugging her.
You know the drawings that she does on the wall in her room?
The house over the head.
Yeah,
everywhere.
which is kind of like,
You're
my
trapped.
body,
Yeah.
my body may be
that, but my
what
head
I'm
is,
not, but my head is at home. I know who I am. Up here, I'm
True.
still me. Because at the end, definitely she's not a she. He is Vicente. It's up to him to say, right?
Yeah.
And
then it's the whole thing of like Antonio. He kind of almost gets away and he comes back to his normal life. Vicente goes back to his old life or her life now, and it's like you've got your family back, but like you haven't won. Like nobody wins because Antonio Banderas is dead. His mum's dead. Fucking Tiger Man's dead. His daughter's dead.
I know.
And Vincent is effectively dead, isn't it? And now Vera is the one who lives.
I'm going to say this is who I think wins. I think women win by the end because this guy, because when you strip it right back, a rapist has been punished and told, okay, you want to do that to a woman? Well, now this is what it feels like. That
side of you is dead. The male side of you is dead. The side you did
You'll
that.
never do it to anyone again. And you've had it happen to you by two men now. So you'll now understand what it's fucking like to live in the skin we live in as women.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not that close. It's not that cut
it's
and
not
dry,
really like,
because I feel bad for him a little bit.
Who? For Antonio?
Vicente.
Well, yeah, you were a piece of shit and you got what came to you.
Yeah, but I feel bad for him a bit because he's been forced to live this life, you know.
But he's also, again, he's crossed a very angry man. He's crossed a man who's lost his wife and lost his child.
I know, yeah. But how much? Here's the thing. How much is it Vicente's fault that his daughter died, and how much is it that Tiger Man's fault that his wife died? Because both of them were alive after they encountered their rapist. They only died
at the hands of
Antonio
also, I find
Banderas.
it's like if you were angry about your wife dying, you would have gone after your brother and your Tiger Man. The fact that he walked out of the house and walked straight past him.
What do you mean when he walked out of the house?
Because the tigers, they come out of a house, don't they? And then the Tiger Man walks opposite them and comes up to the bell.
Yeah, but he didn't see him.
But also, you would have been angry. You might have gone searching for your brother. Like, if you're that angry enough to search for that kid, you'd have searched.
But remember, he doesn't know that that's his brother. And the only reason we know that is because the mother, who is the servant at the house, is telling Vera the story, and she's like, what he doesn't know is that is his half brother, because I slept the master of this house, and
that's
I had
why
an
I got
affair.
confused that he was not his brother, because she says, because he took him in and put him in the thing, doesn't he? So he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know it's his brother. Only she. Yeah, that's what.
Only she knows. But that's like this whole thing of like twisted melodramatic families, some being in each other's lives, some not, people disappearing for years and all that stuff. It's fascinating stuff, man. There's a lot of shit going on throughout. I personally think that Antonio Banderas is probably one of the biggest pieces of shit in this film, because even though he doesn't
The only thing, as I say, Vincent, I feel like he didn't think he could get away with it. Like, you can see it in his face that he wants to escape. He wants to, like, he's eating him alive a little bit, what he's done. Whereas nothing that Antonio Banderas has done is eating alive at him.
No. And also...
He just continues that. He's got that rule again. You said we needed to calm it down, but it's a very psychopathic kind of just, like, getting on with your life. Like, B to B. Yeah. I do this every day.
Like, I like that he takes revenge. It's cool. It's great. Like, yeah, great. Get the rapist and cut his dick off and be like, no, you ain't going to be doing that again. But he does cross a line the minute that he sleeps with him. Because what's going through his fucking head, because that's him just lost control when he decides, okay, I will have sex with the rapist of my daughter.
I do think he has lost it. I think he's got too deep in it now and he's recreated what he wanted and then he's fallen in love with him. I think that is
he probably has, yeah.
It is.
He's lost his mind.
Oh, my wife is back, or whatever is back, and I'm just so happy, and I'm so in love, and that's where he becomes stupid, and he gets away with it. Like, when he thinks he can get away with letting her out, and when the mum's like, "Don't do it," like, what's your backup? He's don't have one. I trust her, and it's like, yeah, you're getting sloppy now. Like,
I know,
but you're getting sloppy for love.
Yeah, he was a madman. It was very much like Frankenstein. In some respects.
Yeah. Do you know what I also like about this film is it's like even if this film was done in English and it was English or American or whatever, and this was the first time it's been made, it's not a remake, I just don't think it would have the same effect. I think there is something very European about it. If it was a film with Spanish, Italian, and French that sent that.
No, you're right. It is a very European film. It's a very Almodovar film. Pedro Almodovar is gay, and all of his films, for the most part, deal with either gay characters or characters that are like challenging gender norms, the people they sleep with. Like, for example, in this film, you just say, "Oh yeah, well, Antonio Banderas is a straight man." You don't even say it. You just think, "Well, he's straight." But then by the end of the film, he is sleeping with a man.
Yeah. It's the whole who is alive at the end of the film. Is it Vincent who's alive at the end of the film, or is it now Vera?
Well,
and in my
says,
opinion,
I think
Vera.
Go on. So you think it's Vera, but then at the end, the last line of the film is him saying, "It's me, Vicente." It's a lot. That's purposefully the last line.
I do.
So that's him claiming his identity.
He's trying to claim it back, but what is the what do you call it? The physical form of Vincent is dead. Maybe his memories are alive and they live on in a new whatever you want to call it, a cat. That's a new body, isn't it? It's a new, because it's a completely new body. It's been sculpted. It's been surgeon. It's like, this is not just a,
Well, okay, so I mean, it's not. I don't think that this film is
it's not a commentary
for
on
the
that.
Trans experience.
It's
or anything like that.
Not like what we did. Me and Paul did the other day that I saw the TV glow. That's a much more down that trans experience or queer experience. This kind of deals into the what do you call it, the scientific side of it. I think more than the actual mental and
it does. And it is, the bottom line is it's non-consensual. He, Vicente, whatever his crimes were, he didn't consent to this. So he's been made this thing. But then again, knows his daughter, who he is.
Antonio Banderas' daughter didn't consent to anything, and she's also dead because of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like exactly. No sympathy. I mean, the best.
Yeah, but it's like how many people have died because of their sins in this, like, for one way or another. Something's happened to them, and then then that person's dead, whether they're physically dead or they're.
Do you know what, man? This is just lovely, fiery Latin American storytelling. Very dramatic, very melodramatic. It's almost like a soap opera.
Yeah, I was I am annoyed Paul's not here because it's such a good film to unpick. Like, after I watched it, I was just like, "This is gonna like."
Well, I'll tell
I
you what,
immediately
Adam,
want to talk about it.
There's going to be two. We've got Paul's comments. We'll play them in a minute. There's two things that it could go with Paul's comments. One, he will love the outrageousness of the surgery and the revenge and putting new skin on and making him have a woman's body. He will either love that or he will dislike the film because he will like every character's horrendous, which is true. I
guess that is but at the beginning you're kind of on board with Antonio Banderas until you realise what he's done. At the first hour you're all rooting with him, which is why I think you weirdly stick with him, because even though you know he's done wrong, you're like, okay, he's done wrong, but he's done wrong because of this. Okay, I don't agree with that step, but I can still see why. I don't agree with that step, and then it gets to the point where you're like, okay, you just now, you've now overstepped the mark.
It's literally the moment. Like, if he didn't have sex with Vera, would you like be like, okay, we're totally on his side?
Yes and no. I do think there is the. Yeah, I think it's a grey area. It's like that whole thing of if he got found out in real life and it went to a court, he should go to prison for everything he's done. Still, like, you understand why someone's done something, but also you have committed a number of crimes that is inexcusable at the same time.
Of course, even if in the name of revenge. Yeah,
it's like you can. Revenge only goes a certain way, doesn't it? This is what you want to call it, calculated. And but I enjoyed the beginning of the film. There was parts when he was doing the surgery. It was almost, I want to describe it as almost like in films when someone's making food. Do you know, like in Big Night, and they're just the craftsmanship and the way it's shot as well was just like, that's what I mean. It's so not an art house film, but like the art in this film.
I know,
is there, which is why when all this storytelling's happening, if you thought this was an American film, it would be horrific, it would be horrendous, it would be in your face, whereas it just kind of, it doesn't happen in the background, but there is almost no build up to the scene. The scene happens and then everything moves on. It's not like, which everyone's making a massive moment over that thing.
Mate, you should watch a few more Almodóvar's because he's got a lovely flair with his directing. He really there's a really brilliant film with Pedro Pascal and Ethan Hawke, which is a short, it's like 30 minutes. I don't know what you can watch it on, that Almodóvar directed last year or the year before that. And they're two cowboys. I think I talked about it at end of year wrap up. They play two cowboys who see each other after 15 years. And obviously they used to...
Yeah, you just mentioned this.
So good, mate. So good. He's a great filmmaker. I want to watch some more of his
I got
stuff,
excited because I was like, this and loads of other things is on my Warner Brothers app, because Warner Brothers distribute his films, but they're all in Spanish. They don't have any subtitles on
no
them.
subs. Oh, mate, time to start learning. Donde es mi maleta?
I'm like, how long was they in an airport and it's...
One good character, actually. Here's the one person I think is probably the cleanest out of all the characters, apart from the daughter who's totally innocent. Is the mother, Antonio Banderas' mother, because even though she's complicit in keeping that woman there, that's her crime, she is actually protecting her kids. Her impulse is, I'm going to protect Antonio Banderas. He's my son.
And then also, I think in a weird way, she's protecting Vera as well. Like, I feel like the more she's almost trying to shield her in enough of a way, not like keep her captive, but if you shield her from everything. And it goes back to when Antonio Banderas' wife died. I think it's that whole thing of, we took away all the mirrors and everything. It was like, she would have been fine if you shielded her enough. It was the second when she saw her horror that she killed herself. Like, she lived for a year and she was fine. And it was like, as long as you keep this person in this bubble and as long as you manage that bubble around them, they will survive. What is left of them, who knows? But like, they are still living a life. So I think she was trying to do the same with Vera. It's like, don't let her outside. Don't let, if the second you let it get in her head that it's not this, is when this is all going to spiral out and you're not going to control it.
But you know what's interesting? You say that, but then remember, after the lion rapes her, she says to Antonio Banderas, kill her.
Kill them both, didn't she?
Yes, kill them both, when he goes in with the gun. And Banderas, you remember that scene?
I was just in my head, I was like, why is she saying kill them both? Like,
I know.
At the beginning, it's like...
Banderas points the gun at Vera first when he walks into that room. And I remember thinking at the time, why are you pointing it at her? But it's because he's like, oh, you fucking rapist. I know what you did.
Yeah.
It's all very good.
Should we listen to Paul and then we can bounce off Paul's ideas?
Let's play it.
Hello everyone. Hope you're well. Let's talk about The Skin I Live In. Wow, what a wild journey of a film this is. It literally just blindsides you. I really thought I had the measure of this film, and no, there's just twist after twist, and I was totally misled into thinking it was one thing. Time after time, actually, I feel like Almodóvar, he puts little bits in to make you think you know where it's going. Like, from the off, I really did think there was going to be some sordid... I mean, it goes in sordid directions, but I thought it was going to be the daughter. I thought the daughter's face was going to get changed, and I was thinking, well, wow, I'm never going to be back in Banderas in this situation. And but no, it wasn't that. And then we go to the shop where Vicent, he doesn't have an N in his name. It's Vicent, and where he's working, he's got a lady who works there with him, and I feel like they purposely cast her to look a little bit like Vera. And I thought, oh, it's going to be her. She's going to get kidnapped somehow. No, it's not her. And then they also talk about an oversized woman who's gone missing. And I was thinking, oh my God, he needs loads of skin. Maybe that's going to be something to do with her. No, it's not that either. And yeah, it's just a cool film that really keeps you guessing. And no way did I ever guess where it actually went. And I think that it was a really cool little story that was laid out. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, basically it's just the skin these women live in all forms, that it's never their own. It's this skin is just there to be used and abused in whatever way men decide they want to do it. You know, in every situation where a woman is in the film, I feel like she is being taken advantage of in some way. And like even when Vicent, you first see Vicent, I can't even say that name. How do you say it? When first time you see him in the shop, he's trying to convince this lady he works with that to be with him, even though she's a lesbian. She has no interest. And yeah, it's basically a massive revenge film that's a revenge for something that never actually happened. It didn't happen. Like, Vicent was with the daughter and he thought it was all consensual and it didn't happen, and it's only he tried to back away, but you know, she was biting his hand. So what can he do? You know, I never felt like he actually did anything wrong really in that situation. Might have taken advantage a little bit because she was obviously not of right mind at that point, but he didn't know that. And yeah, I think it's a really cool story, and yeah, I think it's great. A great little thriller. It gets the solid 8 from me. Great, solid stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. Oh yes, and fuck me, man. Tiger, one of the grossest characters ever put to screen in recent memory. He is horrendous. And that's not a slight on the film. That's just credit to the actor playing him, because I felt his grossness coming out the screen. Horrendous. Disgusting. But this film's great.
Well then.
I do feel like he did this. She bit his hand because she screamed and he put his mouth over her hand to stop people from hearing her scream. And then she bit it.
Yeah. I mean,
feel like
this is the interesting bit, Adam, though, because you are so convinced. Like, I think we are on 3 tiers. You are so convinced he did something terrible. I'm like, he did, but it's textured, it's layered, it's muddled, and Paul is like, oh, he didn't really do anything wrong.
So I feel like you don't think he's done anything wrong, then the whole film, that's probably why Paul's enjoyed this film, because he doesn't think, he thinks he's the good guy getting fucked over. Because if you don't, then if you don't see it, like, if you don't think he's done something wrong, then...
Well, let's take it, let's imagine this is a court of law. This is thin ice, we're not going to do that. No. But basically, he and her, everything is consensual up until they get to the tree, right? They start fooling around. It's both consensual, right?
Yeah, and then he takes it too far. I think.
And at what point does he take it too far? At what point?
I think when he starts getting on top of her, you can see that she's not really reacting back to his advances. She's kind of lying there.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't know at that point, right? Because she doesn't say anything. We, as an audience, see her facial expressions,
exactly,
but he doesn't.
I get that. That there is a thing, but then it's also maybe that whole thing of what she's just lying there a bit like a corpse in a scared situation where she's probably too worried to say anything because she feels under threat from him because he's lying on top of her and she's alone in the woods. It's just men
sucking, isn't it?
It is that whole of like, you can, what do you call it? You can attack a woman without actually, like, you can put her in, it's a fear of a situation. She's backed into a corner. At first she's like, okay, let's just maybe not go with it, but let's not do anything, and we'll just see if we can get out of it. And then it gets to the point where she's like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is going way too far.
Yeah.
And it's that moment there. But you can see the whole time from the second they lay on the floor that she's not interested in it.
Yeah, we as an audience can for sure. Yeah, and because he's on drugs, he can't. It's no excuse though.
Yeah.
And that he definitely continues writhing on top of her when she expresses discomfort. He punches her out, and then he gropes her up when he's dressing her.
He's
so
very
he's
much
a piece of shit.
rubbing up and down it. Like
The wider point is, like what Paul said, and like what the film title is, the skin I live in, about how much it really fucking sucks to be a woman, because just by being a woman you are treated this way. If we're having this conversation about a scene in a film and we can't agree, how hard it must be for women who've been sexually assaulted and raped
also
to get convictions.
Exactly. It's like what is the evidence there? Oh, it's her word against mine. Oh yeah, there's a bit of DNA maybe, but then he'll be like, oh yeah, but she said let's go down here and she took her clothes off. So it's like that whole
men are the fucking worst. We really are.
This is where you maybe get people like, it's like Dexter of Antonio Banderas, like taking the law into his own hands when he knows.
Do you know, like, the truth is, even though Antonio Banderas is a mad scientist, he's doing the fucking Lord's work, because by making Vicente into a woman, a literal woman, he is completely reframed. Yes, that he may still be Vicente, but he's completely changed that guy's mental state to the point where he will never even think of being like that to a woman ever again. Yeah,
and then especially after Tiger Man turned up.
Yeah, Tiger Man does fucking suck. Yeah. Treating your mother like that was bad enough.
That was such a jarring. I think that was one of the most jarring scenes I think I've ever seen in a film.
When he suddenly appears, I agree.
Like I've got the measure of this film. I understand what's going on. So what the fuck is going on here?
I know.
So is this just turned into a stupid character comedy of like? Yeah. It felt like it could have been one of those. Do you know those films that we did with like the trilogy and this? What was the one in the hotel room with all Elvis things? I can't remember it now. I can't remember the name of it.
Something Midnight or something like that. Midnight Express.
Something like that. But then and then you go and then you're like, oh. But then I thought in my head, it's going to be like this, and this is going to go here now, and then I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I was on board with it, and then it was like, I still wasn't. Yeah. But
the only thing that I will say against it, two things, is one, I didn't like. There was a lot of like just showing the rapes as they were. It made me uncomfortable, and obviously that's subject matter, and you needed to do it for the film, I guess. But
it was otherwise you need to know how much of a scumbag he is.
Sure, right, yeah. And the other thing is that ultimately, even though it was a good thriller and we enjoyed it and the revenge and whatnot, it was kind of like a man's revenge. It wasn't like, I would have enjoyed it more, perhaps, if like roles had been reversed and it was the dad who had died and the mother was the surgeon. Do you know what I mean? And the mother turned a man into a woman
because she raped
the daughter.
Yeah, that would have. But then also again, it would have
changed the whole thing though.
It wouldn't have I don't want to say a dynamic, but the plot at the end of the film of like,
of course, yeah,
he's gone for like the moral, who's right, who's wrong here, rather than the yeah.
All right then, mate. Shall we score this bad boy up?
Yeah.
I think I know which way we're all going, but go ahead.
I'm going high. It's a 9 out of 10 from me.
Oh, it's a 9 from you, Adam. Yeah. Well, it's only an 8 from me.
Oh, okay.
And it's an 8 from Paul. Look at that. Well, yeah. I mean, it should. The reasons that I gave are the reasons it's not a 9, and also I was trying to think, what's the theme? What is it actually saying? And well, we've actually talked about it in the film, so it is actually saying a lot. But it's an 8. An 8. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So that gives it an 8.33, Adam. So time to place this little sucker. First and foremost, the full Monty. That's an interesting one.
Well, Paul's going to say the full Monty's better.
Why? What does he give the full Monty? He gives it a 9. Yes. What do you give the full Monty? You give that an 8. So it's on me to decide. I'm going to say...
You're giving it both an 8, I take it.
Yeah, they're both an 8. I'm going to go above full Monty.
Okay.
7 Samurai. It's better than that for me.
I say it's better than 7 Samurai.
What does Paul give 7 Samurai? He gives it an 8. So so it doesn't matter. It keeps going. Summer of Sam is better for me.
This is better than Summer of Sam.
And Paul gave Summer of Sam An 8, I think. Yeah, so Paul's going to have to decide. So we'll decide after that, listeners, and let you know in the next episode. I think, well, yeah, it's hard to say. And then Die Hard's after that, and fuck, both of you idiots think that film's the best. So it's somewhere around there anyway. So that's where it places. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent to have Pedro Almodovar on the podcast, and I think a good conversation. All right, then, Adam, what's the crack? What's happening? Oh, I suppose we should probably say, if you liked listening to this, you should join our Patreon, because we talk a little more about stuff.
Every so often.
Every so often, we do end of month wrap-ups, we do a little exclusive video content from
There's
time
loads
to
of
time.
wonderful people over there.
Plenty of wonderful people over there. And you get to shape the show, because you get to pick the films that come up on our year rounds, just like Julio did with 2011. On that note, Adam, 2011, where are we going next?
So we are going to do a pick from one of our patrons, which of course, if you sign up, this is how we should have done it, Paul, Ben.
Yes,
you could
Paul, Ben.
You can join our Patreon and do these wonderful picks with our wonderful patrons, and you can pick wonderful films. And
you've turned into Paul. How many times are you going to get wonderful?
I thought I was going to wait until you say long how it took you to know.
Is it lovely as well?
Yeah,
lovely.
But we are going to do the film Warrior, which was Tom Hardy. Is it Tom Hardy and Mark Wahlberg in it?
I don't know. I guess.
I remember Tom Hardy being in it.
I haven't
think
seen
Mark Wahlberg's into it. Maybe we should do our research on films before we mention that we're doing them. But
well, I don't know nothing about it other than it's Tom Hardy and it looks like a boxing movie. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah.
And Jamie brought that up because even though this is Julio's round, he availed himself of the Proton pick, which is a perk that you get as a patron to jump onto another round.
Yeah.
So go ahead and sign up, and you'll be able to do such things.
Yes.
But I guess
make sure they're good films, though.
Yeah. Well, this was a good start to 2011.
It's a very strong start.
Hopefully, it's not all downhill from here.
No.
And anything to say to sign off, Adam?
See you soon. Godspeed to you.
See you soon. Godspeed.
Fieldbusters.